I'd like to jump then to, you know, we keep talking about orphanages, but it turns out that these are not really orphanages, in the sense that, in my understanding, the majority of these kids are actually not orphans. And so can you talk a bit about the woman that you talked to who was sent to one of these orphanages by her parents, and why that happens, and talk a bit more then about why this is, you know, this is an industry more than a charity.
Julia, or do you want me to?
You can start, and yeah, go ahead.
So the woman that we spoke to was Immaculate, and she was, that was her name, sorry, her name was Immaculate, and she was, you know, one of these people who'd gone through the orphanage system, and there are a lot of families who desperately want their children to have a good education, poor families that don't have the means to be able to provide them with the level of education that they want to. And so there are these so-called orphanages, which are often run illegally and not registered, who tell these families that, look, if you come and give us your children, if your children come and stay with us, then they will get a good education, they'll be able to get their school certificates, and it will mean that there'll be Western people or people from various countries that will be able to fund your child, and they'll have a better quality of life. And the reality is that's very often not the case. And what actually happens are these children are used as pawns and props to show off to people and say, you know, look what we have, come and fund these individuals, and then the money is used somewhere else and doesn't actually go into helping these children. And so that's what happens. And I guess the reality is that a lot of this story is about the fact that there are, you know, families and children, they are the victims of all of this. And it's usually people from, and it always is actually people from very poor backgrounds who are being exploited.
And I guess we've all seen these commercials, you know, here, sponsor a child in, you know, some country in the developing world. They desperately need your help, $2 a week, or, you know, there are all these marketing ploys. But to see it from the other side, and to see how clearly a lot of this money never actually gets to these kids, it's diverted, and we get into the corruption issue later in your piece. But it sort of makes you think, oh my goodness, there's a whole other dimension to this.